Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Clay with Heavyweight Comics, and thanks so much for stopping by. Let me start off by saying two things. Number one, I'm so sorry that I have not posted a video in so long. My entire family, quite literally, my entire family had the stomach bug that had been going around. Quite literally, everyone and their mom has been getting sick. And anyway, so that's part of the reason. Also, just the day-to-day just responsibilities of life been kind of keeping me away for a while. But I promise I'm going to be more diligent, and I thank everyone for their patience with me being gone for so long. Secondly, I wanted to say, so I got some good news in the midst of this kind of hiatus. I've got a sponsor for these videos. It's more of a fun sponsor, a sponsor that I really kind of sought out, but at the same time it was mutual. I just wanted to be a blessing to him, and it'd be cool to help him out and get some name recognition for him. And that sponsor is my good friend Eric Nieltowski. This guy's a professional comic book artist, and I'm kind of sponsoring him in a way, but he's also sponsoring me in that I get to kind of do some name dropping for him. But the bottom line is he's an amazing comic book artist who has some incredible art. He's worked for Marvel, DC, and quite a few other companies, whether it's doing sketch cards or other comic book stuff that you do. But he goes to all the conventions, and he's an incredible guy with awesome standards as an artist. So at the end of the video, I'll give him another plug, and I want to encourage you guys to go check out his website, ericnieltowskiart.com, and I'll post a link down below. That way you'll see how the name is spelled, and you can check the site directly from there. So without further ado, let me get to the whole point of this, that I am back, and I'm back with Cap 695. And I gotta tell you, I was so excited when this book came out. Number one, because Mark Waid was on it, and I've always enjoyed most of Mark Waid's stuff. Number two, it's the actual Steve Rogers Cap that we have not had for literally years now. I really got discouraged reading Cap back when Marvel Now launched. At first, it was kind of cool, with the Dimension Z, that came out that Rick Remender was writing, and that was a cool story. But thereafter, it really started to go downhill, in my opinion, by Remender, and unfortunately, it just, when they did the whole switch to Falcon Cap, I just kind of stepped away from Cap, which it was so sad for me, because he's been my favorite hero for about, he's been my favorite hero for a long time. I want to say about 8 to 10 years. But, there was just that sad period where, Falcon wasn't Falcon anymore, because I loved him as Falcon. I wanted him to stay Falcon. I didn't want him to change. But, Cap was nowhere. He was just this old guy on the side, and it was just very sad. So, anyway, when, I forget who the guy was. I can't remember his name. Who did the whole thing with Hydra Cap. I just wasn't interested in that run. Decided not to jump on. And then when I heard about this, it just blew my mind. I was so excited they were bringing him back. And anyway, with Marvel Legacy, I wasn't trying to get sold on the hype train of what Marvel Legacy was, but I gotta tell you, just as something as simple as the cover changes of Marvel Legacy, how artistically and the layout of every cover, that was something very small that took place as far as the layout of like the Marvel Legacy brand at the top of the book, but the title up top, telling what part it was, having the little character face underneath the comic book number. Those were just very small changes that really got me excited for what this could be, because honestly, when Marvel Now happened, oh my goodness, I literally cried and died a little bit inside, because it was, as someone who has long boxes and goes to the conventions and just loves to root through the long box, the Marvel Now covers were awful. Every number, all the important material was at the bottom of the book. Aesthetically, it was a nightmare, but also just as a collector, it was a nightmare, because, man, I could never find anything if it was a Marvel Now book. So Marvel Legacy really knocked it out of the park with their new layouts, and this was the first, this is the relaunch of Captain America, like the legit Steve Rogers Cap. So the title is Home of the Brave Part 1, and I'll do my best not to give any spoilers, with one exception, and that is that I want to give my opinion on the very beginning of the book, and I'll do that here shortly. But as a whole, my take on this book is that it was a lot of fun to read, and not because it was like the greatest Cap book that's come around in a long time. However, I argue that it could be called that because it was our old school, old fashioned Captain America, and I was all for that. He was back, so that was exciting to get to read this book and kind of get a feel for Cap being back. Um, but I gotta say, well, I want to jump the gun. I want to give away like why the thing I hated so much about this book, but loved a lot more of it. But it was just a lot of classic Captain America tropes in this book, and I could tell that Mark Waid really does care about Captain America, and that's part of the reason I was so excited about it. And that really, is it's illustrated well as the point of this book was with Mark Waid saying very simply, "The strong protect the weak." That's the overarching theme of this book is the strong protect the weak, and I think Mark Waid does a good job of expressing that. Excuse me, but there's just again the beginning of the book. Okay, I will say it because I can't not say it anymore. The beginning of the book, I'm guessing it's basically a flashback scene where there's just these younger version of characters that or they're no name characters, not reoccurring characters, just regular civilians that Captain America is performing a service for. He's Captain America. He's protecting them. It's not like he's serving them food or something. But he's literally just protecting them from another terrorist organization that was in the book. But it's a flashback scene, so all these people are like kids, and these teachers are just they're obviously older. And their appearance in the book. But in this scene, not a single person has any idea who Captain America is. And I could not shake that scene. I had to reread the scene as I'm going into the book like 4 times to understand what on earth was happening. It just didn't make any sense. At the beginning of the book, you get a quick synopsis of who Captain America is, and that's refreshing. It's a relaunch, I get it. So they give like 1 or 2 pages of that, but then it jumps right into this scene where no one has a clue who Captain America is. These kids don't know who it is. These old ladies don't know who it is, and it was so it took me out of the story, which is the biggest sin a comic book can make. Is that when you read a comic, you should always read it. And you can tell it's a good comic when you can follow the story seamlessly, where you're not taken out. Just as you watch a movie, you generally aren't taken out of the story by the actual flow of the film. You just follow the flow of the film. So in a comic, you should never actually lose focus of the story. So when you have to backtrack 4 times to understand what exactly is happening through the panel transitions or the storytelling of the dialogue, that's a big problem. So anyway, the whole idea that was happening it just threw me off so hard that not a single person that in this scene knew who Cap was. But aside from that, it was so good to see Cap was back. It was so good to see him doing the fun things that Cap does. He really, shone greatly. And I think it's Chris Samney who does the art in this book. And I was really impressed. At first, I wasn't sure how to really take it. I thought it looked kind of really simple for one of Marvel's primetime characters. Maybe not so primetime right now, but hopefully in the coming days, Captain America will jump back into his fame and glory. But anyway, honestly, the art kind of reminds me of the Batman animated series, cartoons. There's something just very simple about it, but it does well. It's not that Captain America is like bulging, out of his outfit like he does in some of, the old '90s comics. But he looks good. He looks really good. Oh my gosh! I'm here flipping through the book, and I'm just on the pages where people don't know who Cap is, and it's just blowing me away that some of these teachers are saying like, "Oh God, please don't hurt the children." I'm like, what are you talking about? This is Captain America. He's the only person on the planet that actually wears a flag as a costume with a one-of-a-kind shield. Anyway, I don't know. It just blows my mind that was actually allowed in this book. But the rest of the book is fun. I can't wait to read the next issue. Very excited that Mark Waid's on this. I know that he had a great run back in the 90s, and I think I'm really hoping he does Captain America justice. Not necessarily a pun intended, but there you go. Anyway, thank you guys again so much for taking the time to check this video out, and I hope to come back soon with more videos. I know I want to get on some some more of the 90s X-Men. Want to check out some more Kid Kaiju when we get the moment to do so. And I want to throw out also some more DC comics on here. I know I've got a lot of Marvel. I even started reading some Image with Backlash. Having never read any Backlash, it was kind of fun and refreshing to read that series. But I'm actually on the side reading Green Lantern, like Jeff Johns' entire run on Green Lantern. So I might just jump in where I'm already at in that series as opposed to trying to start number one. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, but also, guys, don't forget to check out my sponsor, Eric Nieltowski. He is an amazing professional artist. Go check out his prints. Pick him up if you like him. He's got some great stuff over there. He's got some Overwatch prints. He's got some superhero prints. Again, TMNT prints. Guy's just an awesome artist. So go check him out, ericnieltowski.com. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.